And that was a beautiful song by me. Anyway.
Wow, it was so good.
I know, thank you. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 33rd episode of the Fans of DC Universe podcast. We're closing in on 50. Ooh. This is the only DC podcast for the fans, by the fans, and the best source for all DC Universe news and discussion on everything DCU. Joining us this week, we have the wonderful, talented, amazing author, Aurora.
Hello. We
have the whirlwind of a journey, TornadoSoup.
Hi.
And we have the person who lives underwater, AwesomeSquid. And then there's me.
Hi.
Nathan.Payson, your host. This week we are discussing some more sales data. Last week we talked about the top 10, but we have more sales data that I thought would be interesting. We're also going to be discussing Harley Quinn Season 2, new content to DCU being added, what you should read if you put under Shelter in Place, and free comic book day details. And, of course, more. And I want to start out by saying that that's an old note. Never mind. So without further ado, let's talk about some of the comics coming out this week. Starting on Tuesday, we will be getting first issue special number 6, Black Magic number 4, Detective Comics number 354, Doorway to Nightmare, whatever that is, number 4, House of Mystery number 203, Super Friends.
Doorway to Nightmare?
What is Doorway to Nightmare?
I barely know what Doorway to Nightmare is.
Super Friends number 2, The Spectre number 2.
Horror anthology series.
Okay, that makes sense.
Maybe that's
Wanted number 7.
Debuted.
What? Okay.
I think that's the series that Madame Xanadu debuted.
Oh, got it. Wanted number 7, Aquaman number 46, Batman number 67, some more Tom King amazement. Actually, I think it's one of the better issues of Nightmare. I think this is the issue with Catwoman and where it's like the If They Had Gotten Married one. That one's pretty fun. Or it's the Bachelor Party one. It's one of the two.
Fun.
The Bachelor Party one was fun. Where like Lois and Catwoman get drunk. Like at the Fortress of Solitude.
Double Date was more fun.
What? I know, but this one was also fun. I think it's this one. Damage number 15, Electric Warriors number 5, Justice League number 20, which is the start of the 6 Dimensions arc. Naomi number 3, Nightwing number 58, Teen Titans number 28, The Woldstorm, I think it was just a typo, I'm pretty sure it's The Wildstorm number 21, that's the 2017. DC First Issue Special number 7, Detective Comics number. Oh wait, no, I'm in the next week now. Ignore the last two. There you go. The Woldstorm is the last one. So those are all the comics that came out this week. Just curious, what? Anyway, sorry, just read something accidentally. Just curious, what are you guys reading this week?
I started reading. Well, I started last week, but like this past week, I've been reading J. Michael Straczynski's Superman run. I've oddly not read as much this week as I would have thought, having nothing to do. But
I read more than I normally read of DC, although I didn't read like any Marvel. It's so funny. Yeah. Oh, so what's sort of the premise of his run?
So it's after the new Krypton arc, which was a whole thing in and of itself. But basically, it leaves Superman very disillusioned, and he decides, all right, I need to take a step back from all the comic book craziness that I'm usually going through, and he just takes a walk through the United States. And he's just walking.
No. Is it Superman Grounded?
Yeah.
Oh no! I hate that one.
There are parts that I really like about it because it actually takes time to, show Superman being a good person, and takes time to develop
in such
him.
A weird way, though.
He does.
But yeah, you're right.
And then, it's interesting to see how the small towns react to him. Walking through, because some of them are like celebrating and throwing parades and hanging banners, and it's this big thing that's uniting the towns. And then other times, they're just terrified because they know that every time he comes through one of the towns, there's, doomsday or something that's coming to try and kill him. So that's kind of interesting, but also not a lot happens, or there's just sometimes when it's really depressing. There's this one issue that I think is really well written, but it's so Superman's walking through this town, and everyone's getting ready in the town, and there's this boy who's idolized Superman his whole life, but he's been bullied at school. His dad beats him and his mom, and he's just got an awful life. And he realizes Superman's coming and is like, all right, Superman fixes everything. He's going to fix this. And his dad is getting drunk and is pretty much about to kill him. And then Superman comes in and stops him and saves the boy and sends the boy off. But then he also threatens to kill the guy, basically, which was weird.
If I don't get a phone call from this kid every day.
Yeah. It's
wow.
It's very interesting.
The incident that incites this walking across America thing is a woman runs up to Superman because Superman was gone because of the previous event, or it was the whole thing. But she runs up and accuses him of letting her husband die of cancer.
Wow. Well, I do think there's something interesting in that.
Superman doesn't fix, typically.
Yeah, but I do think there's something interesting in, Superman being asked, challenged. And just being, forced to look at people and who, he sort of ignores, when you're, a god, right? How much time can you actually spend on one person?
I didn't like the writing, but the premise isn't too bad. Okay.
Well, I'm so curious to see what you think, because J. Michael Straczynski also wrote my favorite book this week. Although you're reading an old run, I'm reading something new. I'm not going to talk much about it, but I read The Resistance #1 by a new publisher called AWA Comics. It's a new superhero universe that they're launching. It's launching with a 6-issue miniseries called The Resistance. It's political. It's about a virus, epidemic that arrives and causes chaos and mass shutdowns. It's uncannily similar to what we're feeling right now. There are literally drag and drop moments where you swear he's talking about what's going on exactly right now. But this comic was written 6 months ago. So it's a freaky coincidence. But it's so good, and I think it makes the comic just even better. Psychic. Yes, or he's from the future or something. But it's just that perfect timing that just and looks a little bit at what the aftermath of something like that is. And it's really interesting. And you guys should all go read it. By AWA it's called The Resistance. And that's all I'm going to say on that. I read Hawkman. I'm caught up with the DCU issues. So I'm in the middle of the Cataclysm arc right now. Hawkman's really good. And it's so easy to he did such a great job of getting looking at the first 10 issues, right? I think what Venditti does so well is he each of the issues sort of looks at a different sort of story, and they don't feel the most related, right? They have this ongoing thread that gets them from issue place to place, but then when you zoom out and you said what did they do is a macro sort of big picture. Is the first couple issues him visiting different versions of himself and meeting different versions of himself. And he Venditti is not afraid to reveal the macro picture to you while also focusing on getting you through the journey. And it's just really well done and amazing. And then Catwoman's just fun. And this time she broke into a safe, and because there was a bracelet that was stolen, and the police are trying to figure out how she are trying to catch her because they think she's trying to break into the safe. Of course she is, but she's just trying to get a bracelet that this mafia person stole, and I love it. And that's all I have to say on that.
The new Catwoman series is pretty good, but it has an issue.
By the way, I'm gonna fix the reverb for those curious. Okay, keep going.
The new Catwoman series is weird. I don't think the issue's reached here on DC Universe yet, so I'll avoid talking about it. But it's weird.
The post via Hermosa? The post via Hermosa arc? Wait, are you talking about the Joelle Jones series or the new creative team that just came on?
No, I'm talking about the old creative series.
The Joelle Jones
old
series?
creative team. Yeah,
it's
weird.
It's just one
too
person
much.
doing.
It's too ranty.
Too grandy?
No, too ranty.
Ranty?
If I get into my one specific weird random problem with it, then it will just turn into a big rant of mine, and we're gonna try to avoid those, right?
Okay.
Never mind. I shouldn't have rushed it in the first place.
I have just one thing.
Okay. I have one issue because there's this one character who gets arrested during the series and goes away, and the plot line wraps up. But a couple issues later, they just show up again, and they're just there, and I'm like, why?
Okay, got it. There you go.
It doesn't make any sense.
Aurora, what are you reading right now?
It's fun.
I've been reading my way back through parts of Infinity Inc. and trying to put together my JSA book club discussion questions for my next post. So
awesome. So what's going on in Infinity Inc.?
The issues that I've been reading are the ones that involve Chroma. I'm not sure if you guys have read those, or also where the first appearance of the group Helix.
Who is the group Helix?
They are basically a superhero group who were raised together. They were born from a doctor's genetic experiments to see, if he could make, children. Well, if only they were that cute and fluffy, but basically there was a doctor who was a geneticist, fertility doctor, whatever you'd like to call them, and he did some experiments on unsuspecting women to see if he could make children with superpowers.
Oh, no.
And ended up all these kids, but maybe one or two that got away from him, ended up having to be raised together because he took them away from the parents. And so you've got these superpowered people who were basically raised by this doctor as a family, and they're going a little evil without guidance, put it that way. They've been pretty much raised to do whatever the person that has raised them has wanted them to do, and
what issues are those?
Let me see. I get the specific issue numbers. I'll be able to tell you in just a moment. I think it's issues. I just sent Jason my notes about it. I'll be able to tell you in a second. These are issues number 11 to 18. The ones Chroma is an alien that shows up and shows up during a concert, and Infinity Inc. is doing security during this concert, and he shows up on stage right in front of a whole bunch of television cameras and starts basically singing a hypnotic song all about the end of the world.
It's the Music Meister.
Yeah.
TornadoSoup, what are you reading?
Yes.
Well, I already said J. Michael Straczynski's
that's right.
Superman.
And AwesomeSquid.
I've also been trying to read. Yeah, right.
Oh, you go ahead.
No, you can.
Gosh, what was?
Okay.
Please,
there was.
I trust whatever you have to say about anything is more interesting than all that I have to say about stuff.
Well, I was just saying that I'm starting to get into House of X and Powers of 10, and
Oh yeah. Oh, you started reading it?
yeah, I started reading those a little while ago, but like now that I have much more time, I'm gonna start because I got a few issues.
What issue are
digging in?
What issue are you on?
I just started issue number 2 of Powers, I think. Is either
so you
issue
just
2
got
or
through the
3.
Moira comic?
Yeah, which, yeah, that was. I still don't know how I feel about it, but because on one hand, I think it's a really cool idea. It's a really interesting power that like isn't really used ever. It's like one of the few times that you see a new power that seems original, but also it's just such a massive retcon that I don't think I can really accept it. Like, Moira McTaggart has been a major X-Men character for the past 45 years, and now all of a sudden everything is different.
Well, but I think the thing that's really interesting, right, and this is all I'm going to say on this, because this is my favorite comic series at the moment of all time, although Resistance is trying to challenge that. One thing I really like about it is it doesn't bother me that Moira is actually a mutant, because while you're right, it's a retcon, it also hasn't actually changed anything about her, right? In a sense, she's still powerless, and of course she would still try to seem human, right? For a long time she thought she was a human, in fact for 3 lives, right? And
not what I don't have a problem with making her a mutant, and a lot of it doesn't really change anything, but at the same time she's also seen how everything goes down. She's been trying to work with Professor X this whole time, and basically trying to get the whole Krakoa thing working. And
yes, one thing
it's just never come up before.
Yeah. I think the one thing just to be conscious of as going through is that Moira has yet to win, right? Moira has yet, and so she's still trying to figure this out. She's just trying to use the toolkit she has to give it another go, and she thinks she may have it this time. She still has a lot of big questions, and you'll learn more about Moira as the comic goes on. But I love Moira, especially post retcon.
Sure, the Moira retcon is big and everything, but it pales in comparison to the Gold Ball retcon.
Oh my god, I love the Gold Ball retcon. Anyway, that's all we're gonna say to avoid more spoilers.
I just one more thing.
Rate out of 10 right now. If you had to rate it right now,
I'd say a 7. It's good. I mean, the writing's really good, the art's really good, but I'd say it probably doesn't even crack the top 5 favorite X-Men comics of all time yet. I'm hoping it's going to get there. I'm really hoping. I think there's a lot of potential. All right.
There's a lot more stuff to happen too.
It's already my number 1 favorite X-Men comic because it's the only one I've read.
Okay. What else? Oh, did you guys read Robin 80th anniversary?
I was not able to pick it up because I am super sick and have a really bad dry cough, which luckily hasn't interrupted the podcast yet. But I'm not leaving the house. I'm not risking spreading it to someone else.
Okay.
Whatever good. I have, I don't qualify for testing, so I don't know what I have. It could be nothing.
Oh my god. So salty. This is all I'm going to say about testing right now. Because I feel like we're just going to keep coming back to it. Because it's 99.9% of American life right now. But Rand Paul came out said today that he got tested and had it. But of course, he says he doesn't show any symptoms. He hasn't come in any known contact with anyone who has it, or even in the same there's just no way that he would ever have gotten tested for it, or he doesn't pass any of the qualifications, and yet he was able to get tested despite him being asymptomatic. having no symptoms,
famous and rich.
no contact. Yeah, well, he's a senator. But so he was able to bypass all his corporate BS to like get his test. And if you have it, right?
There's one person who should be getting the tests. I don't think it's horrible to be testing the government people, but it kind of sucks that the government people are being tested like most Americans aren't able to be tested.
Yeah.
We should have been more prepared.
Oh my god. Sucks. Yeah, there's no reason we shouldn't have been more prepared.
While sick, what I've been reading is I bought a bundle of DRM-free Doctor Who comics. Ooh. Have any of you watched Doctor Who?
I have not.
I've been watching Doctor Who since I was a little kid. So
Ooh. I'm glad we had one person.
It's just... So have you watched the new series? Just series 1 of the revival?
I've been watching since I was a kid back in early mid-70s. I have not seen the latest season, but I've seen just about everything before that.
Oh boy, the latest season. Oh, that's a big retcon at the end of that one. The fandom is in flames, but to be honest, the fandom always is. So, there's an episode in series 1 of the 2005 revival.
Mm-hmm.
Well, a couple episodes with Adam Mitchell, this dude who just exists as a plot device to show you how if the companions aren't good, they suck, and the Doctor will leave him behind. And what he does is he goes to the future, and he tries to use that to make a bunch of money in the past. So the Doctor erases all that and ditches him.
Okay.
He's the one who gets the hole in his skull so he can interact with the future computers.
This is so weird.
I read the comic is so weird because there's I think it's called Prisoners of Time or something. There's 4 doctors that are kidnapped, and you're like, who's behind it? And it turns out it's Adam Mitchell, that guy. He swears revenge on the Doctor because actually his get rich quick scheme was retconned to actually be to get money for his mother who had cancer, and he needed money for the treatment, and that's why he was doing it. So that's weird retcon.
Moving on to something else that's weird.
For a multi-Doctor story.
Moving on to something else that's weird. DCU released the new trailer for Harley Quinn Season 2. What are your thoughts, you guys?
I've been holding off watching it until I watch the finale, which is the only episode I haven't watched yet.
Okay. Any other thoughts?
I should have been prepared for the podcast.
It's okay. I don't care. We'll do a Harley Quinn Season 1 spoiler cast at some point. Any other thoughts on it? I'll share mine in a second. No? Okay.
I mean, other than I'm excited for it to be back, but not too excited because it just hasn't been that long.
Yeah.
Usually before a season premieres of a show that I like, I get really excited because it feels like it's been a long time, and it's just been a couple weeks, so...
Yeah, it doesn't feel special, I guess.
Yeah, you're returning to, a friend you met, you're meeting a friend again. Sort of, right?
I mean,
and, there's been a gap of time. It's like going back to school after the summer is always way more exciting than going back to school after a weekend. This is a weekend, not a summer.
Or going to school after,
This is like Harley Quinn is school, and our break right now is the weekend. And yeah. Although I am somewhat glad now in retrospect that we're getting Harley Quinn and Stargirl starting in April.
Well, Stargirl's starting in May. Stargirl is starting in May.
Well,
Yes,
I'm kind of glad that we're getting...
I think it's May 11th.
Okay. But I'm kind of glad we're getting some more stuff. Because
I'm looking forward to Stargirl a lot more.
I know. Same. I think a lot of people are. We've also known Stargirl was a thing for a year and a half, 2 years now.
We only had that dang photo. They it came soon after the announcement.
I mean, we have trailers now. We have 3 trailers.
I know, but we went so long with just that photo.
I know,
Have
right?
you guys seen the Little Short Not You clip?
No.
Oh, that's hilarious.
I've only heard good things about it, though. The Stargirl, though. From Applejack. Applejack's the only person who's seen it.
I haven't seen it.
Because, they show that scene. They show that scene where, Starman is on the ground and he's talking with Pat and he's saying somebody must carry the torch. And, Pat's like, I'll try. And he's like, not you.
I'm excited for Stargirl, and I know you're even more excited because it's a JSA thing, right?
Yes.
And they're bringing in the JSA.
Yes,
is this
I'm excited for that.
Come true?
Oh, I'm excited.
You're
she's actually not my favorite JSA character, but she is in the top, 2 or 3. So
she's in the top 30 JSA characters for me. I couldn't name any of the JSA characters, so that's okay.
In the top 100, 200.
I mean, if I had a favorite JSA character, it would probably be Atom Smasher. But
yeah, Jason Todd is in my top 10 Robins of all time.
Yeah.
But so talking about the trailer, I really like. So can I just say one thing? I'm actually Batman. Okay, I'm gonna say 4 words. Okay, Batman's No Man's Land. Okay, and I'm really looking forward to what they do with it. It looks really fun, and there's a moment where Harley Quinn and Poison Ivy hold hands in the trailer.
Wait, No Man's Land? They're doing No Man's Land?
What? No.
Yeah, it's something that.
Yeah.
It's well, no.
You'll understand how they set it up.
Yeah.
You have to see how they set it up, but it looks great. I'm super curious to see what they do with this Gotham that's been completely morphed by that's basically become controlled by the villains, and we'll see how it goes. But I'm really looking forward to stuff. Also, apparently, I want to say the person who plays Batgirl is Kaylee Cuoco's sister. So that's kind of fun. That's why I found out today. But moving on to other stuff coming to DCU, we have new content. So starting with in April, we have on April 1st the Batman Tim Burton series return. Tim Burton series returns. Batman 1989, Batman's Return 1992. We also have Green Lantern's Emerald Knights, Green Lantern First Flight, Justice League Crisis on 2 Earths, Justice League Doom, Justice League Gods and Monsters, Justice League The Flashpoint Paradox, Justice League The New Frontier, Justice League Throne of Atlantis, Justice League War, and Justice League vs. Teen Titans. So we have all of that coming on Wednesday, April 1st. And then then every week afterwards, we have Harley Quinn episodes. And then for comics, we have all sorts of just random stuff, including Batman White Knight. You guys, we're going to be able to read Batman White Knight. And I remember Applejack said something about how she got it, how she was able to get this to happen. I don't remember reading. I don't remember where it was on Alpha Hours, but I couldn't find it in time. But I'm really excited. I'm really glad that they're bringing White Knight. It's a great comic. I haven't actually finished it. I have a physical copy literally sitting on my wardrobe for me to read someday, but I haven't gotten around to it. I've read the first issue and a half. I like it a lot. That's all I have to say on that. But I'm really glad that they're managing to get one of their big sort of quote unquote graphic novels sort of series on here, and I'm hoping that they're able to add more over time. Let's be honest, I don't really know, is there any reason why White Knight would be coming that's really important?
The sequel's finishing up.
Oh, you think it's to sell? You think it's to sell sequel hardcovers?
Yeah. I mean, and they are starting the new imprint type thing, and they're branching out the universe. So
they're planning 4 more series or something after this series.
Sean Murphy then proceeded, by the way, in the comics where he said that, he then proceeded to say some weird things that made me a little upset. But that's okay. They said here they're celebrating Joker's 80th.
One?
What?
No monologues one?
No. I don't remember.
No monologues. No, in the Why Not Universe? No internal monologues.
I don't remember. I remember where it was when I found out about his comments about it, but that's okay. They're saying it's to celebrate Joker's 80th anniversary here. So, what? I gotta find them. But they're saying DC Universe is saying they're celebrating Joker's 80th anniversary with this, which sounds like a fun, exciting thing. Well, I find the comments. I want to share one more thing. A bunch of titles are leaving. This isn't necessarily a surprise. It's just part of the rotation thing. I know everyone spells doom every time a bunch of titles leave, but we're getting a bunch of stuff back.
Unlike last time, we're actually getting a bunch of stuff back.
Yes, but we're losing a lot. Batman vs. Robin, Batman Assault on Arkham, Batman Bad Blood, Batman Gotham Knight, Batman Mask of the Phantasm, Batman Mystery of the Batwoman, Batman The Dark Knight Returns Part 1 and 2, Batman Under the Hood, Batman Year 1, and Constantine 2005. So, that's the thing.
Not Constantine 2005.
No!
Okay, wait. Do you want to know something I just found out a couple weeks ago that is
what?
Just ruined everything for me? It turns out his name isn't actually pronounced Constantine, and
it's Constantine,
everyone's just been. It's Constantine, but ever since the Keanu Reeves movie, people have been pronouncing it Constantine. So I'm trying to make
even
a
the
conscious.
good show pronounces it that way.
Yeah, everybody pronounces it. The movie, the show, Legends. Everybody pronounces it Constantine.
Oh no!
It's supposed to be Constantine.
Oh no!
And ever since I learned that, I've been trying to make an effort to pronounce it "quote unquote" correctly.
To be honest, Constantine sounds better.
It does. So it's really hard because one, I'm just more used to it, and two, it sounds better because Constantine sounds. I don't know what it sounds like, but it doesn't sound as good as Constantine.
Even though it's right, it sounds wrong.
Yeah. It's like Neil Adams saying that Ra's al Ghul is supposed to be pronounced Ra's al Ghul. It's, they pronounce it Raish in the animated series, so that's how I've always said it. And trying to say it Raz just feels wrong.
No, I've always said Ra's al Ghul. But I mean, look, these are fictional characters. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter how I say it.
I
can't find these comments.
Actual source for the pronunciation, but we don't for Ra's al Ghul. Because comics can't talk. I wish we knew how to pronounce them.
I'm sorry, I can't find these comments. But anyway, I'm sorry. I wish I could tell you where they were. I barely remember them. That's okay. They just upset me. Anyway, more. So we talked about stuff leaving. I'm not really disappointed in any of them. I was never gonna watch any of them anyway. I'm probably not gonna watch any of the stuff coming except the originals anyway. But I am. I do like the Batman 1989. And by the way, update on HBO Max. Applejack says we'll probably have to wait to see what content looks like until after HBO Max comes out. Which means they still don't know.
Or they can't say.
Although something's telling me it's because they don't know. They're not saying expect more details soon. They're saying we probably won't know. But we'll see. Next on the news, we have comic sales numbers. Last week we talked about the top 10 comics, but I wanted to say this because we have numbers attached, and we have the top 500 instead. I think notably Wolverine #1 sold 190,000 copies, and then in the first DC comic on the list was Batman, which only sold 56,000 at number 8. They got 8 and 10, so they only had 2. And then Curse of the White Knight, by the way, was number 3 of the DC at 54. We're placed at number 11. And then the next DC comic to make the list is at 22 with Justice League, and 23 with Joker Killer Smile. So, and I think what's extra nerve-wracking is is in their top 30. Most of the few things on their top 30 are number ones. About half of them are. Or like Joker Killer Smiles, Dark is Black Label, so it's going to end. So that's where I'm a little worried. Meanwhile, X-Men got 10 titles in the top 30 out of 14. So DC lost to X-Men again on top 30 stuff. Anyway, that's all I have to say. If you guys do you guys have any series you want me to just give you the sales numbers for real quick?
No.
Yeah, I don't really have anything.
Okay, that's fine.
Just, yeah, I'm not even gonna say anything because I don't have anything to say. Yeah.
Because we already. By the way, Action Comics was the 63rd best-selling comic. Talk about Bendis doing wonderful. Anyway, what else? Oh, this is more news. Free Comic Book Day has been delayed. Wah, wah, wah. Because of the virus. But, good news, don't worry about Generation Zero, Gods Among Us, which was supposed to come to DCU the day after Free Comic Book Day, because it will still be coming out that day. According to Applejack, I asked her a question about it, and she said are they going to change it? And she said, no plans to change that. I think it's in the best spirits of everyone to continue celebrating however we can, and luckily DC Universe is able to provide that. I'll let you know if the release date changes, but I'm not sure why it would. So that makes me think that Generation Zero is still happening on time, and that you guys will still be able to read it for free on DC Universe on May 5th. That's exciting.
I hope so.
Yeah, I do hope so.
They've changed it a lot from what the original plan was. The original plan was to read that one from Wonder Woman number 750.
Wait,
but
what?
Apparently they changed and replaced that with teaser material for Death Metal. Interesting.
Oh, they're no. Wait, is this true?
I read it somewhere. Doesn't make it true.
Okay, let me look this up.
I'm pretty sure they said that the content was changed to not just be. They were going to have like a Wally Manhattan.
I'm seeing like delays, but I'm not seeing any
Well, don't trust me. Don't
details
trust
about that.
Whatever you do, don't trust me because I'm probably wrong.
But I am trying to see just to check. But I don't think I'm seeing anything. I would love that sounds awesome though. I would love a death metal teaser. We'll see if it happens, you know. But of course, remember that Age of Metahuman, Age of Christ got delayed. So 5G is sort of on pause, although it's exciting to think that we'll theoretically be getting some stuff soon. And that's about all the news we have for this week. So I wanted to do a quick thing before we close off this new segment. In the event that this virus goes on a while, what do you guys recommend reading? On DCU specifically.
There's always the entirety of Marv Wolfman's New Teen Titans, because he was on that book for like 16 years straight. And each issue is about as wordy as a novel. So, like, at the very least, it's a good time killer. But it's also really good. So, well, at least most of it starts to get really bad towards the end, but like the first few years of it are really good. And I mean, most of Tom King's Batman is on DC Universe, so there's always that. But
are you trying to set me up here?
Oh, I actually do like Tom King's Batman, all right? Like, especially the first 49 issues. I really suggest, especially the Double Date arc. Just those two issues.
Don't Fate is the only good one.
Yeah.
I like the first 57 issues.
I like the.
I like it up to Nightmares. Nightmares might somewhat lost me, but I thought City of Bane was good, so it's fine. But so you're saying read the first 50 issues ish of Tom King's Batman? Okay.
and also Jeff Johns JSA.
No.
Yeah.
I've actually got hard copies of almost all the entire JSA run here on my bookshelf.
Wow.
So what do you recommend reading, Aurora?
Right now, I'm reading my way through Infinity Inc., and then, yes, I'll probably start on the Jeff Johns JSA run.
Got it.
Only because I can't get the whole thing of the Justice League America. There's still so many issues missing.
That they
on DC Universe?
Collected?
Yes.
And they haven't digitalized.
Well, hopefully, because they tend to have some like date pairing, right? Like when what was it? Like for example, when we were getting some of the Blue Devil comics when Swamp Thing was going on, and Swamp Thing partly led to them House of Mystery, House of Secret stuff.
So Stargirl could lead some more JSA's comics.
Fingers crossed, of course, but that would be nice, right?
Well, I haven't noticed much in the way of JSA missing, but like I said, there's still a lot of the Justice League America missing. Anything above
Justice League America.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, yeah.
Yeah.
Wrong title. There's only a letter difference. Yeah, so my recommendation...
that actually fills in a lot of the time between Infinity Inc. and the Jeff Johns JSA run.
Yeah.
My recommendation for DCU is to go through and catch up on DC Rebirth Phase 2. There's a lot of great books going on at DC, and it's so easy to complain about the macro structure just sucking. But there's a lot of just great series. It's just the timeline's a mess, right? For example, I really like Red Hood Outlaw. I don't like Jason Todd. I think Jason Todd's in my top 10 Robins, of course. But I'm not the biggest Jason Todd fan. Although he's one of the better Robins, right? Top 10. But for example, Hawkman's wonderful. Catwoman's I really like. Bendis to Superman is a mess. I'm not going to talk about that. But Justice League Dark's really great. What else? I'm liking The Flash. I'm behind on Wonder Woman. Although I'm only like an issue and a half behind. So that's fine. Go read the beginning of the Batman Who Laughs stuff. Lots of great content of like recent stuff. And that's my advice, is catch up. That way at some point, like every week you can just like go to comic books and you just have new stuff to read every week that you like are able to jump onto. That's my recommendations for you. Anyway, that's about all I have to say. Other than that, my other secret recommendation, but I'm not going to recommend it because I said only DC, is Dawn of X. Just everything Dawn of X.
If you're looking for something to binge, Injustice is good.
Yeah, although Dawn of X is 40 issues now. No, there's like 50 issues of Dawn of X now. There's a lot
of Injustice.
What?
There's more issues of Injustice.
That's true.
And Injustice is on DC Universe, and you can read it for free as long as you have a DC Universe subscription.
So
you can read it for free as long as you're paying.
Yeah, but it's like $7.99 a month.
Yeah, it is. Just buy it. Binge it all. Trust me, it's worth it. It's good. It's good stuff. I think all of them, including the He-Man crossover.
I'm sure it's good.
Yeah, think about, you can read, you're paying for like the first 3 or 4 issues, and then after that, everything is free. So
that's how I like to think about these services, right? And if you get a year subscription, your like first like 24 issues or whatever is equal to a year subscription.
And then anything past that, you're just profiting practically.
Exactly. You're saving money. Yeah.
Nice.
And you get TV shows. Like, that's the thing, right? And I'm curious to see how how the COVID virus thing. Once again, I'll just repeat this. I've been told that YouTube is removing videos that say the actual name of the disease, which I think is stupid.
Okay, so
That's what I've been told.
Wait. I have found out some more information about this. It looks like they're changing their policy, or maybe I was completely wrong on the policy and that wasn't what it was. But now I'm seeing videos where you say the actual virus, where you say coronavirus, and now instead of just blocking the video, it might get demonetized, but that's not a problem for us.
Okay, so we can say coronavirus now? Thank God.
But they'll put
too late.
Like,
we've already said it once. We can say it more times.
But they put a little link at the foot of the video to legitimate news sources and information. So
that's really cool.
Yeah, which is a much better.
I like that.
Preventing misinformation, which I think was the
well,
original goal.
There's a big thing, the first, especially when the outbreak first started hitting, is that, especially, there was a lot of information going around. I mean, Russia even admitted they were cranking out a lot of misinformation.
I mean, it's crazy right now. What else? What was I in the middle of saying before this all happened?
I have no idea.
I don't remember.
Something about content on DC Universe.
Oh yeah, it'll be interesting to see how stuff like DC Universe and Marvel Unlimited change as can get increased sales numbers as a result of this. Because I feel like there's just so much content here for people who aren't checking it out. And this is such a cheap purchase for so much content that it makes a lot of sense to get it even for a month. If you're have 2 months of just whatever, having 2 months of DC Universe will be a massive time waster, which is what you want right now, right?
All right,
Same with Marvel Unlimited, right? And Comixology Unlimited is doing 60 a day free trial right now. So I'm curious to see how that impacts sales numbers and that sort of stuff. I don't know if I've necessarily seen the community more busy, but I also haven't been on the community that much because I am too obsessed with World of Warcraft. Right, I said it here.
So I've got one. So I went, because I've been keeping track of every issue that I've read so far this year. So I went into the Google Sheets where I'm listing it all. And so I've read a total of 301 comics specifically from DC Universe this year. So multiplied by $3.99, assuming that they're all the average price of a comic, which they wouldn't all be, but taking that assumption, I would have spent $1,200.99 this past year just from January to March reading all of this stuff just in DC Universe. Not
assuming you perfectly tracked everything you've read.
Every time I read an issue, I put it in.
Okay.
So
that's insane, though, right? That goes to show, right?
Prices are going to vary, but it should all be around. Some of them would have been $2.99,
but some of them would have been more too.
And take for instance, I'm getting to read stuff on DCU that I haven't seen since I was a kid because I could never have afforded to track down all those back issues of Infinity Inc.
Because a lot of...
imagine as old as they are, how hard they would be to find,
Yeah.
Or
if you're reading really old stuff?
Yeah, all the stuff that, my mom threw away ages ago,
Yeah. But if you're reading, the really old stuff, like Comics Cavalcade or any of the stuff from the 40s, those are going to be at least a couple $100 to find online.
Yeah, if you want to get a copy of Action Comics #1, you better be selling your house and more.
Well, to be fair, the original comic was 64 pages. The one on DC Universe is 11. And it's been free on the regular DC app for years now. But Action Comics issue #2 wasn't, and that's still going to be, a couple mortgages. So,
so I have two last things to say. One, I want to give people a chance to talk about the DCW, DC Writers, or whatever we're calling it. It's a writing project that people are starting, and it'll be coming out April 1st, starting April 1st, where a large list of creators from the community are creating fan fiction in a shared universe. And a lot of and for those worried, like, oh, stuff won't be releasing, like everyone else claim this, like people have done before with movies and stuff. Like, let's create a movie cinematic universe. Like, no one actually wrote a script, right? But no, trust me, scripts are already being written / have been finished, and stuff will be coming out. I'm not saying every title will be out in time, but a lot of stuff will be, especially for the beginning. And it's shaping to be really, really cool. And since some of people here are writing stuff, I thought I'd give you people a chance to share what they're writing.
I said I would be writing stuff, but I never will. I got sick with mystery disease.
No. I've been so busy with schools being canceled and my kids being home full time that I have an inkling of a plan, but I haven't had any time to flesh it out yet.
Mm-hmm. Well,
the character that's one of the characters I reserved, a lot of people have been asking me if they can borrow him. So I've been waiting for people to get with me and tell me what their plans are so I can plan what I'm doing around it.
Yeah.
Because apparently, the first character I requested was, one of the first two characters I requested was Black Adam, and apparently he's very popular. So
apparently he just won like some Darkseid Invaders or something after getting Lazarus Pit saved against the Anti-Monitor. Who would figure? People are so salty about that. That like Black Adam won. I'm like, because like he got Lazarus Pit saved against the Anti-Monitor. People are like, why does the Lazarus Pit thing exist? Because people are salty because like they like bet that he would win, right? And then like 70% of people said, yeah, Anti-Monitor wins. And then Black Adam still won. Like people because of this quote unquote cheat thing. I'm trying to remember who's in charge of that section. But I know Bendis is in charge of one of them.
Bendis is in charge of Luthor's. I think it was Phil Morris who did
Phil Morris.
The Invaders.
Phil Morris, come on, you guys. And
he gets a pass. He's been he's been in Smallville, he's been in Doom Patrol, he's in Superman Red Son.
But he chose Black Adam to save of all people.
Okay.
Then again, we talked about last week. That was the most boring bracket. That was the most like I would have probably saved if I had to choose one. Like I probably would have done that one too.
Yeah, I mean he's like Black Adam doesn't win that fight, but he's also a much better character than the Anti-Monitor because like he is a character, and the Anti-Monitor is just destroying stuff, and that's basically his character. Mm-hmm. So
going back, okay, yeah.
I mean, if you've ever read World War III, literally, it took like the JSA, the Justice League, the Titans, and everybody else, and they still had a hard time taking him out.
Well, that is true. He's
true.
He's
but not Anti-Monitor powerful. Anyway,
the only person who's ever really beaten the Anti-Monitor.
Yeah,
it's a popularity.
Oh,
yeah. Do you want to talk about your DCW titles?
Yes. So I'll talk about Stargirl first because I actually know what I'm doing with that one, and I have the first issue finished, and it actually does relate to some of the stuff that we've talked about already. Because I probably should read some of those Infinity Inc. arcs because it not directly ties into it, but it is heavily influenced by it because the first arc involves Solomon Grundy and in Infinity Inc., one of Stargirl's namesakes, the Star-Spangled the former Star Spangled Kid, Skyman, Sylvester Pemberton, is killed by Solomon Grundy, along with like 2 other people. So, despite the fact that the entire arc is like completely dependent on that arc, I still haven't read it, so I will probably be doing that soon. But it is one of my like I'm really excited about where this is going because it's about I won't say too much, but basically in the first issue the main villain is a mailman with a space bazooka, and Solomon Grundy has turned into an evangelical pastor who preaches about himself. So I'll just leave that.
Wait, what?
Oh dear God!
And
I gotta read this.
God, that's as bad as Lobo becoming Archbishop of a religion.
Yeah. Yeah, basically. So with the Solomon Grundy thing, just imagine Joel Osteen if he was a zombie.
Oh dear God!
And Solomon Grundy
Should be
has started a
interesting.
cult surrounding himself and about himself because he figures, wait a second, I am like successfully coming back from the dead several times over. I could probably use this stuff to like take over the world. Like a lot of people don't want to die. So that's what he does, and then that's what the first arc will be.
I gotta read this.
I got several
I have
things
to read
planned
this.
after that.
That's awesome. So I'm
and
doing
then-
something a lot less weird for DCW. I'm gonna
Wait,
start
I've still
with this.
got 2 series left.
Okay,
I've got 2 series
can I
left.
share? I'll share mine, and then you can come back to yours.
Because I don't really
Okay,
have
I have
anything to say
one
about the other
series.
2.
I have one.
But-
I have sort of 2 series, but one. So it'll be quick. I'm doing an Aquaman series, called mini series called Aquaman Son of Atlan. It will be a 12-issue weekly series. I'm sort of treating this as a year 1, but there's some frame devicey stuff to set up what's going on in the present. It's sort of a look at like what if, like rather than being raised on the Earth, like in Amnesty Bay, like Arthur like was taken away and like caught sooner. Because like part of the whole premise, right, is like what triggers him in a sense is that he gets discovered, and and so like what happens if like Atlan takes Arthur back, and so it's really interesting is he's still Arthur. His name is Arthas, but he's still Arthur. He's just now sort of used Orm as like a true brother, like his true half brother, whereas he's always been an antagonistic character in the Aquaman series. And but he's like still a lot of things to make Aquaman special are still very much in there, including the dynamic of the land and the sea, although it'll be from a different perspective. And I'm really looking forward to it. And I'm written 3.5 issues now, so I'm really looking forward to that. And then you want to talk about, and then that'll spin off into my ongoing, but I'll talk about that in a second. TornadoSoup, you want to share your next series?
Okay, so I've also got Superman. And the first arc of that, the first arc of that barely has Superman in it at all. Clark Kent turns up dead in his apartment, like just normally murdered, with a bullet to the chest, and nobody has any idea what's going on. So it's up to Steel and Supergirl to figure out who killed Clark Kent and where Superman is, because it's like everything is telling them that it is Superman who is dead, but it just can't be because it's also just a normal guy who's dead.
Yeah.
And there's like no signs of kryptonite or anything. So they have to.
That's fascinating.
And I'm that one. So Stargirl's supposed to come out April 1st. I've already got that script written. I'm still working on Superman. That'll be April 15th. And then monthly after that. And then I'm also co-writing Wonder Woman. But so far we don't really have anything for that. Other than the fact that one of the main villains is, so you know how like certain
Solomon Grundy. What?
No, you know how like Jeff Johns has a tendency to just pull a random character who hasn't shown up for 50 years and turn him into a major character.
Yeah.
I've decided to go do that, but go back like 3,000 years and take a character from ancient Greek myth and bring them into Wonder Woman. I'm using Galatea from the Pygmalion myth, who is... So the story of Pygmalion is... Yeah, so the story of Pygmalion is this sculptor sculpts this woman, and she's the most beautiful woman he's ever seen, and he falls madly in love with her, and it gets really creepy, but Aphrodite brings her to life anyway, and then they, get married and live happily ever after. So I'm bringing Galatea back. For one, because it's just kind of weird that, like, she was brought to life solely to make this one guy happy, but, like, she's kind of perfect, and she has, she was imbued with perfection by the gods, so she shouldn't die because she's not a real person. So she has, like, literally outlived her purpose. Pygmalion is dead. She doesn't know what to do. So she's left just, wandering the world, trying to find herself. Also the fact that she was made from inanimate material and given life by the gods, and so is Wonder Woman. So there's, a sort of parallel between the two characters that I want to go into. I don't know for sure that that's going to be the first arc yet. I've also got one idea that I haven't brought past co-writer Bat Jamags yet, that basically turns Wonder Woman, Donna Troy, and Cassie Sandmark into Charlie's Angels, but I don't know if we're going to go with that yet. So
I think there's also going to be a lot of red tape with that, because apparently Cassie Sandsmark is taken, and I think Donna Troy is.
Yeah, so that'll be the...
Yeah.
I mean, but that story arc will also all take place in one night, so it shouldn't get in the way too much, but... And it's not going to be the first one, so we'll...
And is Stargirl a pretty much shared NPC, or is somebody actually grabbed her?
Well, like, I've got her for mine, but she's also... I also figured that, like, she's in Blue Valley for school during the week, but then on the weekends, or, like, sometimes after school, she just goes to New York to work with the JSA. I've got a few references scattered throughout the first issue of her working with them, and because I want...
Because she would probably show up in one of my ideas. It's just, like I said, I haven't had time to fully flesh it out yet.
Yeah, right. And there is... And I didn't know how far you were going to go with this, but I do have a small Easter egg in the first issue. That there's just, like, a newspaper clipping of something that says something like Stargirl speaks out about Black Adam. I mean, not Black Adam, Atom Smasher. So that, I tried to establish that relationship without actually mentioning it. So, so hopefully that works out. But yeah, that's all I got to say.
So my after Aquaman Son of Atlan, I'll be spinning out into an ongoing monthly, I think, maybe bi-weekly. We'll see how much of how much I'm writing at that point. But I'm calling it Atlantean Game of Thrones, in that it sort of starts with this very unified Atlantis, who's like of the seven seas, of the seven kingdoms, sort of one of them's the Trench, so ignore them. One of them is off the map, and so I chose 5 other kingdoms, so Atlantis being one of them, who have sort of become this, like, council, and they're, like, more or less unified in their goals and everything. But part of them I want to explore, so that's sort of how it kicks off. But then they discover this hidden kingdom. It's like another kingdom has been hiding for a long time, and chaos shall ensue. I'm calling it Game of Thrones because I am not afraid to kill off characters. And you'll have to wait and see what happens. So that's that. Also, I'm so early in the planning phase for that one.
This pitch is also fascinating.
Yeah. And then the last thing you guys should know is on April 1st, I think maybe before then, there'll be a teaser with a lot of different of our comics. With the teaser, I don't know what we're actually calling it. But I wrote, a bunch of us have written vignettes for that. I wrote a 4-page story, although when I say 4-page, I mean 4 like comic pages, so it's really like a page and a half of actually I don't know how long it is. Mine is. But I really liked it, and I hope you guys do too. That's all I have to say on DCW. Any last thoughts?
Well, As far as my stuff goes, I don't know the first thing about scripting, so mine is probably going to actually be written out like a novel.
Oh, I'm doing playwriting script style. So it's mostly just I give the dialogue, and I let you envision the blocking yourself.
Mm.
But for the vignette, I was supposed to write comic style, so I included blocking. But it was like, but anyway. So
I've got, I'm doing like a comic script because it's much faster. But
I don't know. I think writing dialogue style play style is just the fastest of them all, but that's okay. That's me.
Yeah, it probably is, but it's.
So last but not least, this is the end of our podcast. We are not going to be doing a B recording this week because I'm kind of bored of them. We might bring them back. If you really want to hear B recordings, please let me know because we can do them. I don't know. I wasn't the biggest fan of the last one, but that's okay. So last but not least, here is your weekly TV show report. TV show report. Yeah. This week we have. Oh no! I thought I'd leave my schedule. Batwoman episode 16 Through the Looking Glass today. Actually, we're recording on Sunday. Supergirl episode 16 Alex in Wonderland. So we're looking at double sort of Alice sort of thing. Although they're not a crossover, it's just coincidence. And then that's it for CW shows this week. Everything else is on hiatus, I think, indefinitely. Or at least for the next 2 weeks.
Crazy.
It's weird. And then Legend of Tomorrow's, I don't know if they're still working on stuff. I think they still have stuff, but they're on a hiatus, just like normal hiatus anyway. And then Flash is on a production hiatus, although I don't know where they're at in that.
Will they finish Legends of Tomorrow? Because filming was wrapped up, I think, but I don't think.
Then they might be on a hiatus for some reason.
I don't know if editing or.
I'm sure this stuff will still release. It could just be late in midsummer that we're still getting stuff. It'll be interesting.
We are definitely gonna still be wrapping up these, but
we'll see, right?
I don't know.
But we're on episode 16, so we only have 7 episodes to go for most of the stuff. Of course, I don't know where they're at in filming. They could be 2 or 3 episodes to the end, right? Because they filmed ahead. Who knows? And that's it. And then there's All-Star. Then what's it called? I forget this. All-Star Games episode 5, the season finale. I recommend just binging the whole thing. I get frustrated because there's not enough to have.
Why is it so quiet?
I don't know.
Everybody stop talking.
Nathan's still talking. I think he just shorted out.
Yeah.
I shorted out. Is it better?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, now I can hear you.
Now I can hear you.
Okay, where did it cut out?
Dead silent. It was silent.
Where did it cut out?
A minute ago.
Okay. Did they say All-Star Games?
Completely silent, and then it was a few seconds before I spoke.
Okay.
Yeah, you're talking about suggesting binging All-Star Games.
Oh, yeah, so you guys should binge All-Star Games because it is just designed for that. And that's all we have for you this week. We are on Podbean, Google Play, SoundCloud, and YouTube. So subscribe on those services. But we are not on Apple Podcasts because apples can be rotten. And so can COVID.
Because apples today keep the doctor away, which, given the circumstances, is not good.
There you go. So that's all we have for you this week. We will be back later. Please stay healthy, everyone. Please stay safe. AwesomeSquid, don't leave your house if you actually have the COVID-19.
I have no idea what I have, but I'm coughing a lot, so...
And it's dry coughing, which is a symptom.
Yep, dry coughing, which is a symptom of it.
Be safe.
So, I'm staying away from people. I'm locked up tight in my house.
And don't be an idiot and be like those millennials who went to Florida for spring break and like.
I'm not gonna do that.
Oh my god, I don't even want like millennials. Come on,
they aren't even really millennials. They're generation.
They're not millennials. Yeah, millennials.
I'm pretty sure those were Zoomers.
Zoomers. They're Zoomers.
My generation, just older people in my generation.
Yeah, Zoomers.
Yeah, of course they are.
They're
right?
Zoomers.
Millennials are like in their 30s now.
Whatever. Anyway, I'm being a good Zoomer.
They don't
That's all you need to know.
Break.
Anyway, bye.